Hey everybody, welcome to what's the final part of the Sonic Advance commentary, but not the final part in our hearts. And this is unfortunately where things...
I could never beat this stage of Sonic as a kid. I could only ever beat it as Tails. I could only ever beat the game as Tails, period.
So, real quickly, this is Egg Rocket Zone. This is like, it's not the penultimate level, there's a level after this. Well, I guess penultimate stage, because the next stage after this is like the real last dedicated stage, and then the other one's like the boss rush.
And I have to say, conceptually as a level, this is pretty freaking cool. Like, you're climbing the rocket, and the pieces of the rocket fall off behind you as you go. Like, that's pretty fucking sick.
It's like the closest we get to a level being based off of the showdown from Sonic Spinball.
I was thinking the same thing, and I was gonna say, I was like, this level reminds me of the boss area in that level where like it's a really cool set piece. You kind of have to get into the rocket from the inside. It acts like it's flying up, but it's really not. It's not moving at all in relation to the rest of the level.
But you'll notice in the top left there, the timer is not going up, it's going down. There's a countdown in this stage. Multiple parts at that, because throughout the stage, you're trying to beat the countdown to reach a threshold before the rocket loses a part of its, I guess the launching module, I guess, right?
Yeah.
That's what's happening. And if you don't beat the timer in time, you just die.
Yeah, which does make sense, and honestly, I think Sonic stages probably could do more stuff like this in terms of, like, certain sections having time limits. Like, because I can imagine this being a 3D Sonic stage easily and being really cool there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, wasn't there a gimmick sort of like this at the end of one of the early Sonic Adventure 2 levels?
Metal Harbor?
I mean,
Metal
there's a
Harbor.
couple stages.
That's the one.
Yeah, there's Metal Harbor and Crazy Gadget, and stuff like that. Oh, okay. So that's the problem with this stage, is that since you're mostly going up, it's not clear which way you're supposed to go, left to right, a lot of the time.
Yes.
There's bottomless pits everywhere, and just some bullshit level design a lot of the time. So yeah, I could only ever beat this stage as Tails.
I like how they put that platform there, but since it's a bottomless pit, you're going to reflexively jump. So instead of just letting you jump into the wall and embarrass yourself, they put spikes there that will immediately catch you when you reflexively jump.
I'm saved?
Oh yeah, we never really talked about the multiple characters in this game. You can play as Tails, Knuckles, and Amy. You actually, when you're playing normally, you don't have Tails following you around. John did a cheat code to do that, which is a fun secret.
I don't know why they locked that behind a cheat code. I mean, it's an Easter egg regardless. Like, I guess that's why they figured it's okay. But yeah, but you do have to do a cheat code in order to have Tails follow you like you would in Sonic 2 and 3.
It's because Tails is actually a detriment. So
inexplicably.
You say that, but he got a good couple of shots in on the ice boss.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's not as, because in Sonic 2. Tails is actively harmful to your progress. It's been a while since I played the game, period, and it's been even longer since I played the game with the cheat on, so I was just going off of my other knowledge there. But if you say so, Mr. Some call me.
Please, Mr. Some.
But yeah, Tails is OP in this game, for the record, because being able to fly kind of breaks a lot of the level design in half, more so than the Genesis games I've found.
Being able to fly does let you clear the levels, like, more easily, sure, but flying is so slow.
As an 8-year-old who wasn't being, like, speedrunning this ever, just being able to beat some of the stages
I'm
was
giving
good
up because I want to make this jump so bad.
Also, in terms of finding the secret springs, which we also really haven't talked about, like, just being able to explore and go anywhere is so helpful for that. I have no idea how the hell you're supposed to find some of those as Sonic.
Yeah, so since this is the longest part, I know it's because these parts have been pretty short, we've only had so much time to get into certain topics here and there. The special stages. I feel we should probably just leave it to SA1 for now. We can talk about SA2 when we get to Advance 2.
There weren't 3D special stages until Heroes, John.
No. I meant Advance Wars 1. special
Okay,
stages.
that shows what you know, because in the instruction manual of Sonic the Hedgehog 1 on the Genesis, they were referred to as 3D special stages. They really wanted you to see them as three-dimensional, even though they weren't.
So the special stages in Sonic Advance 1 are these special springs that they're not in every act, to my knowledge. There's only one in every zone, if I recall.
I believe they're usually in the second zone, but I could be wrong. It's been a while since I cared enough to look for them.
Yeah. So the special stage in Sonic Advance 1, which I'm not showing off because who fucking cares?
Well, the thing is that they're probably the best ones.
No, they're not.
They're not.
They are not.
I mean,
I will as much as I fucking hate getting the Chaos Emeralds in Sonic Advance 2, the special stage itself I like a lot more than the special stage in this game.
Well,
because the special stage in this game is Death Perception, the challenge.
It is. It's like, you can't, like, they try to do this three-dimensional thing with the sprites, but the sprites scale at such a awkward rate that it's impossible to see. It's impossible to tell how they're moving. And you're skydiving directly into everything, which is the worst perception. Which is the worst perspective for this kind of thing with these kind of graphics. And it's just like, no,
I mean, I've never really liked any of the special stages in Sonic, to be honest. Like,
fair enough, yeah.
They're all pretty bad. Blue spheres are fine.
Blue spheres are so fine that they made an entire bonus game out of it.
Yeah, but it's like, I have never had an affinity for any of them, so like, I don't find the ones in Advance 1 to be offensive, which is like, good enough. It's not...
I
here's the
didn't
thing.
mind them. They were kind of just there to me.
Here's the thing, though. Like, with the half pipe, like, yeah, the half pipe's been overdone to hell and back, but you can always, like, with the exception of that clusterfuck of ring thing that the 7th special stage does in Sonic 2, which is meant to fuck with you, you can always tell where the rings are in relation to the tube you are running through, and adjust your positioning to catch them.
I fucking hate the speed booster here, by the way, because it gives you the completely wrong idea where you to go. I'm jump cutting here because I looped for like 3 minutes, wondering where the fuck am I supposed to go.
Go to the left.
Anyway, continue the conversation.
It's like, you get so used to the speed boosters always being oriented in the direction that you're supposed to go that the one time that they fuck with you.
Because 99% of them do.
Yeah, the one time that they fuck with you, they succeed. And it's, that's annoyance for annoyance sake, which is game developers being trolls.
Yeah.
I thought you wanted exploration in your Sonic games, John. Shake my head.
I want exploration to send me to a place with a purpose.
Yeah, there was an invincibility thing over there for
There's
when you backtrack back to the area you've already been through.
Okay.
Against what? The ICBMs?
This is the worst jump in the game?
Yes, it is.
At least you know how you're supposed to make it. There's no arcane hidden button combination that the game never expects you to know about.
Yeah, but you only get 2 shots because you are not reclaiming your rings if you get hit the first time. And there are no rings down there for you to grab. Yeah. So the only way you can get rings is to go back, but this is a timed level. There are 30 seconds left. Oh my god. Sonic, go. Run.
To go into what I was talking about at the end of the last part, though, if there's one thing that I do truly, and I mean this completely sincerely, love about the advanced games is that I do think sprite-wise they're beautiful.
These games look gorgeous.
Oh, you barely made it.
This is among the best. This is among the best sprite
7.
work on the GBA, I think.
Yeah. I don't think that. Are we talking just like GBA entirely or Sonic?
I mean both. I always, for some reason, I have an affinity for the modern design in 2D sprites. I have a lot of nostalgia for this look for Sonic in particular. I just think it looks cool.
Yeah, I would agree. You okay? That's a phenomenal cat impression.
Okay, I'm gonna be that guy when it comes to the Sonic Advance 2 sprites, because like I like the animation detail. I like the
You're talking Advance 2 specifically?
All three games, because they all have the same kind of style. They have the same animation style as well. I like the overall look. I like the animation style, how expressive it is. I do not like the sprites themselves, though, and this is not a fault of the sprite designers by any means. It's just a fault of the amount of pixels that they had to work with when
Yes,
designing.
I was going to mention it. It's the resolution you're talking about.
Yeah, well, the sprites were drawn specifically for this resolution, so it's not like they get better when they scale up.
No.
There are so few pixels that a lot of the detail gets lost in the, like, this is the Sonic Adventure style of Sonic, right? And it's drawn to be similar to, like, oh, you were gutsy there, you didn't even jump right away. When you run into a pair of spikes, your reflex should be to jump, because there's probably spikes below your feet. And this is Egg Rocket Zone, so it's rancid with that shit. But, like, what was I saying?
The sprite quality resolution.
Right, yeah. A lot of the detail gets lost. In the same way that, say, when you're playing OG Final Fantasy VIII, a lot of the detail on the character models there get lost, because the resolution just can't support all the stuff they crammed in.
Tails, you okay?
Tails still blow. No, so those that have been watching in part 3 notices that as I typically do when I'm recording GBA games, I'm using my filter that I like to overlay the graphics with to simulate what it actually looks like on a GBA wide model.
Oh yeah, where
I also have a bit of blurring going on to simulate that sort of motion blur that you get when you're playing it on genuine hardware. And for Sonic Advance specifically, I find this necessary because everyone knows me. I hate the raw pixel look of any game, like 8-bit, 16-bit, otherwise. For Sonic Advance, the trilogy specifically, this is even more so than usual, because I think the raw pixel look for the advanced sprites is actually, I think it's ugly as sin.
Yeah, it's interesting that you bring that up, because, like, I actually generally prefer the raw pixel look for 16-bit and 8-bit games. I don't usually play with, like, scan lines or anything on, unless it's something like the Castlevania Anniversary Collection, where for some reason you can't fill the screen unless you're in scan lines. I don't understand. But, like, I can't do it for Sonic Advance. It's just something about the way the pixels are drawn that doesn't gel with me. And it genuinely does look a lot better on a tiny Game Boy screen. But for my money, it doesn't, none of the filters or whatever that you could apply to a full screen version of the game really.
God, this level design's garbage.
Yes, it is.
This sucks. I will say one thing about Sonic Advance, because this is a fairly early Game Boy Advance game.
Within the first year.
This is before the
Yeah, it's in the first year.
So a lot of extremely early Game Boy Advance games had an extremely saturated color palette because there was no backlight on the original model of the Game Boy Advance.
Castlevania.
So, yeah, so...
No, Circle of the Moon did not do that shit, and you could barely fucking see anything.
Like, the Mario Advance 1, I think, is one of the easiest ways to tell, because everything is super saturated in that game. So, but what I will say is that Sonic Advance, I think, finds a good middle ground, where it is still plenty, like, visible when you're playing on an original hardware, but it also doesn't look like you set the brightness up to 5,000 when you are playing it on an SP or on the Game Boy Player or whatever, which I appreciate.
Yeah, because most time I see raw footage of Sonic Advance 1 and 2 and 3, and I know this is kind of the point, but my first thought is like, motherfucker, you are blue.
Yeah, John, that's kind of the idea.
Well, get the fuck out of here. No, you made that up.
Oh my god, Sega just keeps on reusing the same ball and chain boss fight over and over. Will they ever
I
come
wonder
up
how
with
much money they had to pay. I do genuinely wonder how much they had to pay Dreams Come True for Sonic Advance 1 specifically, because this game not only uses the boss battle theme for this boss rush from Sonic 1 and Sonic 2, as we're going to jump ahead here. The invincibility theme is also Sonic 1 and 2. And the sound test music that I don't show off here, I think is Starlight Zone. Starting from Sonic Advance 2 and onward, though, they completely remove those. There's a new invincibility theme. There's very little callbacks to the original soundtracks outside of Sunset Hill. I think that was the Sonic Advance 3 level. That's just Green Hill Zone.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I think at that point it's like I don't want to. We don't want to keep paying Dreams Come True.
I do want to say Sunset Hill was probably the classiest Green Hill callback because it was in the middle of the game and you didn't expect it.
Yeah, I would agree. I'll give SC3 that.
They never made an Adventure 3, John.
No, Advanced Wars 3.
Oh, they never made one of those either.
No, there's an Advanced
Did they
Wars
not?
3.
Oh wait, no, they did. It was on DS. Never mind. Sorry. It was called Dual Strike though.
Advance 3 also had one of the coolest first levels because you start on Route 99 and yeah, it's a city level and that's happened before by that point in the series, but it was a very different city level from even the games that started in a city.
It felt like a 3D Sonic level in aesthetically, which to this point they really hadn't had anything like that. Like most of the Sonic Advance 1 mostly uses classic Sonic aesthetics, and Advance 2 is kind of still uses more fantasy-ish kind of aesthetics. There's not like a level that looks like it could have come from Adventure 1 or Adventure 2.
Advance 2 had a really stylized level design look.
Yeah,
overall,
which we'll get to when we get there.
Yeah, we will.
This boss sucks. I don't like this boss. Most of it's a waiting game. And
I like
one of the more weaker final bosses.
I like Eggman's Gotcha-matic here. It's like I imagine that's what it's called. Not only is it a gotcha machine, but it actually has a grabby hand where he can yell gotcha.
The grabby hand is the best opportunity you can strike him. The only sort of advice I can give from the most casual fucking Sonic Advance enjoyer is that always assume it's going to be the ice laser because that shit comes out quick.
It looks like if you play it really slow though, it's not too hard. Like
no, it's just like it's very mundane. Like it's a very uneventful boss.
I mean, to be fair, it's not supposed to be the real final boss, but you know.
No, it's not.
No, you're supposed to torture yourselves and go through every level.
But I think of Sonic 3. The end of Death Egg Zone had the giant robot.
Yeah.
That preceded Doomsday, and this is just Eggman's spinning top.
Yeah, it's a Sonic CD final boss.
Remind me, if you're playing Sonic and Knuckles and you get to the end without the Chaos Emeralds, what happens when you beat the first final boss?
You mean like in Death Egg Zone? I mean, you fight the giant robot no matter what.
Yeah, but is the ending how's the ending different if you don't have all of the Chaos Emeralds?
You fall back to Earth, but the Master Emerald stays in space. I don't actually know what's happening, but the Master Emerald doesn't follow you through the atmosphere. It's kind of a weird visual, bit of storytelling, because I don't exactly know what's happening with the Master Emerald there.
The Master Emerald, you can't hold on to it because you don't have your superpower, so you can't really
thank you, Tails.
with you.
Thanks,
Yeah, but even
Tails.
Knuckles, no, not Knuckles, because Knuckles has a completely different final boss.
Maybe it burned up Tails.
Sorry, Tails, you're stuck in the void now.
I'm getting the feeling that they didn't debug Tails very much.
Alone.
Plot twist: Tails in Sonic Generations wasn't coming from the birthday party. He was coming from Advance 1.
But he got better.
Oh, and he went straight from the void to his airplane. Nice.
No, he went straight.
No, if you off-screen Tails long enough, he always comes back.
Oh, true.
Okay. Okay, that was awkward. We just threw a Sonic 2 style sort of still frame over top of this beautifully animated sprite work, and it's just like,
It's like we know what's happening. So anyway, because I do not care about getting the Chaos Emeralds in any of these games for that matter, we're gonna cheat a bit. So I activated teleport to Moonbase. Well, the final stage. Unfortunately, it gets a little weird because no matter what stage you pick, it acts as if you're in the Moon Zone. And I have to actually die for it to load the stage properly.
Is this a
So
cheat that's in
thankfully-
the actual game?
No, it's a Game Shark.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm emulating these games.
Oh, okay.
All right, so this is the proper final zone itself. This is the Moon Zone. Only available after you get all the Chaos Emeralds with Sonic. Because Sonic Advance, despite being a 2D classic game, inspired by the classic games, decides to do the Adventure 1 and Adventure 2 thing, where Super Sonic is a a final boss event thing. Only you cannot play a Super Sonic in any of the stages proper.
I seem to recall the Moon boss is actually pretty hard.
It's not
okay.
really. It's just weird.
Is it like hard in the sense that like it's hard to read the boss's patterns?
Well, everything, nothing can hurt Super Sonic in this. The only thing that I think actively might be able to damage you is the capsules, that like the Pac-Man capsules you see there. If they grab Sonic, you just have to wiggle the D-pad to get out. But another thing is if you dash into them, they drop rings. And that is how you replenish your ring count. Everything else, though, just sends Sonic back.
Yeah, but
I mean,
that's the
that's
thing.
typical.
There's like no rings naturally in the level. You have to actively
it's the
pursue them from the boss's attacks. You're down to 4 rings, 3 rings, 6 rings, 5.
It's done.
You almost ate shit there, John.
It's also pretty short, too.
I like how
Yeah.
the final zone has a level clear and immediately proves why the final zone shouldn't have a level clear. Sonic got through extra. Okay. Why not?
A few
Sonic
days
was in
later.
space for that long.
A few
What the hell was he doing up there?
days later.
Like, was he having like a moment of introspection on the moon? Like, was he having a conversation with Eggman? Dude, it was
You
just
like
what
stars,
are you doing
Eggman?
with this shit, man? Like,
Oh, Tails was late for his cue. Oh, that's why. Okay.
I like how the tornado has like built-in rockets now, rather than those awkward strapped-on like monstrosities that we used to have.
I mean, to be fair, I think because the tornado was literally Sonic's plan and Tails, yeah, I'm gonna outfit a rocket. It was an emergency situation.
Yeah, it made sense in Sonic 2.
Is
when
it really
he
Tails
went.
Sonic's plane? Because we never
It
see
is.
him fly.
Yeah,
the
it
damn
is.
thing.
It is.
The
actually.
first tornado is Sonic's plane.
Yeah,
Yes.
but we never see. I think the only time you ever see him flying it is the non-canon Tails beat Sonic 2 by himself.
Well, it's got Sonic's name on it. You know?
Yeah.
Tails is a fanboy. He put Sonic's name on it.
You're not wrong, but the first tornado is canonically Sonic's plane.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's canonically Sonic's plane in the same way that.
I think in Sonic X, like the backstory with Sonic meeting Tails, that Tails finds Sonic's plane and paints it blue.
Yeah.
Imagine.
What you don't see is Sonic scolding you and be like, why the fuck did you do
Yeah,
that?
imagine like walking through the woods, finding a car, going back home, painting that car green, and meeting the owner and being like, "Hey, let's be best friends."
It's just
Sweet
like-
merciful rings, my plane.
I like how Tails' justification is I painted it blue like you, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm just like, yeah, and I painted it red like my shoes because color contrast
Fucker.
is good.
Really? Yeah. It's like, don't you know color theory? Jesus Christ, blue on blue.
Well, no, it's because it paints it blue so it contrasts with Tails, who's yellow. Oh no, they do have to specifically call.
Yeah,
out
they have the
who's-
credit trees come true
Yeah.
for any tracks from Sonic 1 and 2.
Yeah. Wait, from Sonic 2 as well? I thought that.
Yeah, no dreams come true. Compose a soundtrack. to
You
Sonic 1
know,
and 2.
given how easily these industries can just rip the hard work of their under people away from said under people, I do applaud Dreams Come True for holding on to their shit and making Sega pay them repeatedly for it. I wish everyone else involved in this industry
But really,
could do
like at the time
same.
of this for commentary, they're in a bit of hot water with Crush 40 as well.
Yeah.
What, Sega?
Regards, yes. Because Johnny Gioeli, lead singer of Crush 40, apparently did not realize that they were using his songs as long as they have been in other games without paying him royalties.
Oh, damn.
I think it's specifically for Live and Learn. He owns the master copy of it, so it's that
Yes,
song
yes.
specifically.
Oh, shit. They use that in the movie, too, right? Like,
They use that in the movie, they
was
use it in a lot of
apparently the
other
movie
games.
was okay for various reasons. So
I mean, they better have, because the
I've
movie...
heard actually really good things about the movie. I think Clement and Caro were tweeting about it on Blue Sky.
Well, I know I've heard the movie is good, too, but I'm more saying that, like, if they didn't pay him for the movie, considering how much more the movie probably makes than any specific one Sonic game,
Although,
they'd owe him a lot of money.
would that be Sega or would that be Paramount?
That would be
Probably a
Sega.
little of column A, a little of column B.
He is pursuing legal action against Sega specifically.
Yeah, so, yeah. But yeah, unfortunately, unfortunately, in modern days, if you make music for a game, you sell your soul to the game so that they don't have to do that ever again, unfortunately. But it is how it is.
Yeah, well, that's the end of Sonic Advance 1. We will immediately continue with Sonic Advance 2 starting next time. Have a good night, everybody.